Hello, let's check out another one of my favorite authors and illustrators, Leo Lionni. Now his stuff is really cool because he does printmaking, and printmaking is kind of like stamping, where you can make the same image over and over and over, and it'll be the same every time. Let's check out his book, Swimmy. If you notice the illustrations, they look kind of watery, and the fish that he makes are repeated over and over in exactly the same way. So, we're going to check out a couple of different ways to use water and washable markers to make prints like Leo Lionni did in his book, Swimmy. What you're going to need is some white paper. I have just white copy paper. You'll need scissors, washable markers, water, and some styrofoam. Styrofoam is kind of that plasticky stuff that you might find on fast food cups or plates or bowls. Any of those will work. So if you clean it and get the food or drink off of it, you can recycle these and use them over and over again. So the first way that I'll show you how to use the styrofoam is to make your background. You'll need to choose whatever colors you're going to use for the background. For me, I'm choosing kind of these oceany colors, the colors that Leo Lionni used in his book. So I'm going to take my washable marker and I'm just going to add some color onto the styrofoam. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm not trying to make any kind of picture. I'm just getting some color on there. I'm going to choose 2, maybe 3 colors. You really don't want to go overboard on colors because, as we know, once they start mixing together, they make all kinds of new colors. Next step, I'm taking some water and a brush. I'm going to go right onto the styrofoam, and I'm going to start adding water onto this. The water sits on top of the surface, and it blends those colors together, kind of turning that marker into paint. Now, I'm going to take that styrofoam with all the washable marker on it, and I'm going to flip it over onto the paper I want to use for my background and give it a nice little rub massage on the back. All right, once I think I've got it, and I can even use a marker like a roller to make sure it's all squished out, I'm going to lift it up, and I have this really cool printed background. I can do that over and over again to fill up my whole paper. So I've got this really neat printed background. Another way you can do this is just to go and add some water with a teeny bit of marker. The less marker you use, the more kind of opaque it's going to be, more transparent. So you're not going to see as much color this time. Okay, so kind of like this one, which is also a cool result. The next way I'm going to show you is kind of the opposite way. We're going to be making our fish next. And when I look at Swimmy, right here, little Swimmy, I want to look at the shapes that he is. He's basically a little oval shape with 2 rectangle fins and a kind of triangle tail with a little triangle cut out in the mouth. So when I saw all of that, I was able to draw my fish onto another piece of styrofoam. Or if I'm done with my background, I could use the same piece of styrofoam and cut that up instead. So I drew my fish on there, and you can see how I did the rectangles, the kind of triangle, a little circle, and I've cut him out of styrofoam. Now I'm going to choose whatever color I want for my Swimmy, and because I'm using the same colors as our author and illustrator did, I'm going to use black. Now something to remember, printmaking always comes out backwards. So if I color on this side of my fish, he's not really going to be facing this direction once he's printed. He's going to be facing that direction. So keep that in mind when you're making yours. So I've got my fish, and I'm just going to go ahead and color whatever color. And like I said, I'm choosing black because that's what they used in the book, and I want to make mine match the book. Okay, gotta be real careful to get out on that edge, not to touch it, because if we touch it, then it's going to rub off. Okay, I think that's good. I think I'm happy with that Swimmy. So now, instead of putting water on the styrofoam, we're going to be putting water onto the paper. You can brush it on, but what I prefer to do is to use a sponge with a little bit of water on it. And the reason I do that is just because it keeps it a little more even, so I don't have puddles of super wet and some parts that are super dry. So I'm going to pick where I want my fish to go. I'm going to pet the paper until it's wet but nice and even. And then I'm gonna flip my little fishy over onto that wet part. I can use a marker to roll over it, kind of like a baker's roller. If you're making cookies or something, you might use a rolling pin. And get all the little pieces. And then, ta-da, I have my little Swimmy on my paper. After I do that, I can cut it out and glue it onto my background, and I could keep going with this. I could add so much more onto my paper. I could make other little fish of different colors to stamp over and over and over. I could make rocks, I could make coral, I could make seaweed. The endless possibilities are there for you. So, a thing to think about with printmaking is you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna use too much water or too little water, too much or too little marker. It's kind of a challenging problem-solving thing. So your first fish may not turn out perfect, and that is okay. Printmaking is made to be done over and over and over again. So if you make a mistake, just try it again and again and again until you get it the way that you like. I would love to see what kind of things you guys come up with. Please make sure to upload and show me what you are making. Thank you.